The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene is one of the most dangerous books ever written on human psychology. It reveals how influence, attraction, and manipulation operate beneath the surface, how people are drawn in, controlled, and ultimately conquered without force. In this video, we're going to explore the secret architecture of seduction, how the greatest seducers in history captured hearts, influenced rulers, and turned desire into power. You'll learn to recognize your own seductive nature, avoid the traits that kill attraction, and understand exactly what makes people fall under someone's influence. We'll uncover why real seduction isn't about beauty or charm, it's about psychology. How attraction begins with curiosity, grows through emotion, deepens into obsession, and ends in surrender. Each phase has its own strategy, its own danger, and its own reward. Before that, let's uncover the foundation of what makes someone a great seducer. Most people think seduction is about physical attraction, but real seduction is psychological, which means anyone can learn it. Every interaction is a chance to influence, to pull someone into your world, and the first step is to see through the eyes of a seducer. Here are the foundations. Aim your attention outward. Seducers study people. They watch, they listen, they slip into their skin until they know what makes them lose control. Because nothing kills attraction faster than self-absorption. Never push. Force triggers resistance. Approach from the side, make things look accidental, and let your target feel like they're the one choosing you. Make them come to you. Seduction is a game of cat and mouse. Drop hints, then step back. The absence of declarations makes every word loaded with meaning. Orchestrate emotions. It's not enough to awaken desire. You need to create an emotional storm. So, a dinner date alone won't do it. What really hooks someone is the story around it. The inside jokes that feel like a secret language, or the adventures you turn into your thing together. Take your time. Seduction is a process. Don't improvise, strategize. Like a general, you pace each step so anticipation keeps building. Keep mystery alive. Reveal fragments. Leave enough gaps for imagination to fill the void. Set the stage. The right atmosphere makes people playful, suggestible, open. You'll agree a candlelit bar feels more romantic than a noisy cafe. It's that simple. Seduction works best when the environment itself feels like a world apart from the everyday. Turn words into magic. The right phrase, even a casual one, can hypnotize. Imagine someone who doesn't just flirt, but makes you feel like you were meant to meet. They talk about timing, about fate, about the universe lining things up. Then they disappear just long enough for your imagination to take over. So when they return, you're already convinced destiny brought them back. Alternate closeness and distance. Give warmth, then pull away. Presence, then absence. The rhythm itself becomes addictive. Reseduction is real. Old flames never fully die. A bit of theater, the right symbol, and you can make the attraction feel alive again. A morality is key. Seduction isn't about fairness or virtue, it's about influence. Go beyond desire. Make it unforgettable. Desire fades quickly, but if you make someone feel drawn into another world with you, that's what keeps them hooked. Now that we've covered the foundations, it's time to look at the players. Because before you can seduce anyone, you need to know your own style. Act 1. What kind of seducer are you? Seductive role number 1, the Siren. The Siren is the oldest seducer in history. She represents the ultimate escape for men who feel crushed by responsibility. She offers a world where seriousness fades into pleasure and abandon. Take Cleopatra. Exiled from Egypt and robbed of power, she turned herself into a living dream. One night, guards rolled a carpet into Julius Caesar's chambers. The carpet unrolled and Cleopatra emerged, half-draped, shining like something out of a dream. Caesar was taken by surprise. Soon, she had him sailing down the Nile on a boat turned into a floating palace, temples, incense, music, while Rome fell into chaos in his absence. Caesar was too captivated to care. Years later, Mark Antony met the same fate. Around Cleopatra, duty disappeared. But Cleopatra wasn't the most beautiful woman in Alexandria. Her power came from transformation, constantly shifting her look, her mood, her aura, so no man could ever say he had figured her out. She embodied mystery itself. Centuries later, Marilyn Monroe mastered the same archetype. She knew attention could become power. The walk, the breathy voice, the mix of innocence and desire. On screen, men saw both a girl needing protection and a woman radiating sensuality. That contradiction was irresistible. Even when she tried to hide it, the energy was still radiating from her. This is the secret of the Siren. It's not about beauty. It's about turning yourself into a spectacle. She becomes exactly what the other person craves, while never letting them fully possess her. That's why people can't stop chasing, even when it destroys them. Cleopatra seduced empires. Monroe drove the world mad. If you want to play the Siren, you can't just show up, you have to perform. Elevate your presence. Let your voice, your movements, your style radiate both pleasure and danger. And most importantly, never give yourself away completely. The moment people think they own you, it's over. The Siren keeps them chasing the illusion. Seductive role number 2, the Rake. Every woman craves to feel desired. Most men fail at this. They hesitate, they get distracted, or they hold back. The Rake is the opposite. He lives for women. His energy, his passion, his refusal to restrain himself make him irresistible. Take the young Duc de Richelieu. At court in Paris, he was notorious. He would do anything to reach a lover, even if it meant disguises, bribing guards, or risking arrest. In one tale, he slipped into a woman's chambers in disguise. She should have screamed, but the danger only made the moment more thrilling. Women even rivaled one another for his love. Their jealousy so intense, it was said they'd duel for him. That was Richelieu's power. Irresistible passion that made women feel chosen, desired above the rest. That's the essence of the Rake. His energy is so unrestrained, it overwhelms your defenses. For a moment, you forget morals, consequences, even your own resistance. What sets him apart isn't beauty or charm, it's intensity. He makes the person he wants feel like the center of his universe, and that passion is both addictive and dangerous. The Rake doesn't pretend to be safe. The danger is the attraction. Women know he'll never be faithful, but that's exactly why his attention feels so addictive. Better one wild night with him than a lifetime of neglect with a respectable husband. With the Rake, form matters more than content. It's not about what you say, it's how you make the other person feel. His reputation as reckless, dangerous, impossible to control only fuels his power. If you are to play the Rake, stop holding back. Let yourself go. Pour all your attention into the other person until they feel like the only one in the world. Your lack of restraint isn't weakness. It's the fire that draws people closer. And always hint at risk and darkness so they feel part of something rare and thrilling. Seductive role number 3, the ideal lover. Each of us carries inside us an ideal, either of what we would like to become or of what we want another person to be for us. Our ideal is something we feel is missing inside us. Maybe it's adventure in a life trapped in routine. Maybe it's beauty, art, or passion buried under responsibility. These unfulfilled dreams never disappear. They wait for someone to awaken them. The ideal lover steps in to embody those missing pieces. They don't just offer romance. They awaken desires people thought had died long ago. Take Madame de Pompadour. She rose from obscurity to charm King Louis XV. The king was bored, tired of endless mistresses who offered only the same pleasures. Pompadour gave him something different: constant novelty, elegance, and a mirror to the greatness he wanted to see in himself. In her apartments at Versailles, she staged theater, music, costumes, philosophy. She didn't just entertain him, she elevated him, making him feel like a man of culture, not just a king. For 20 years, she ruled France by becoming what Louis was missing. That's the power of the ideal lover. They don't give you what you already have, they give you what you crave but can't find. The key is attention. The ideal lover listens for the small frustrations people reveal when they think no one is paying attention. Then they become their answer. The ideal lover doesn't just offer romance. They awaken the dream you thought was lost. Seductive role number 4, the dandy. Most people feel trapped in the roles society assigns them. Men must be masculine, women must be feminine, and everyone is expected to play by the rules. The dandy breaks that. They blur boundaries, creating an image so fluid, so free, that they awaken the desires people usually try to hide. Take Rudolph Valentino, the silent film star of the 1920s. On screen, he was graceful, almost feminine in movement, yet he carried an edge of danger. In The Chic, audiences watched him carry an Englishwoman into the desert, caught between threat and tenderness. Women fainted in theaters. When Valentino died at 31, more than 100,000 mourners filed past his coffin. He wasn't the most conventionally masculine man, but that was the point. He reflected women's own femininity, then overpowered them with masculine boldness. That contradiction made him irresistible. The female dandy is just as powerful. Lou Andreas Salome, a writer and psychoanalyst, captivated some of the brightest men of her time. Nietzsche proposed to her, only to be devastated by her refusal. Freud admired her intellect and drew her into his inner circle. Rainer Maria Rilke, one of the greatest poets of the century, became her lover and never recovered from her influence. She had radiant charm, but she also carried independence, intellect, and even a streak of cruelty, usually reserved for men. That blend left brilliant men confused, fascinated, and addicted. That's the magic of the dandy. Contradiction. Masculine and feminine. Tender and cruel. Playful and serious. The ambiguity itself is magnetic, because people can't quite figure you out. To embody the dandy, don't follow the script society hands you. Write your own. Play with appearance, manner, even gender roles. Be unpredictable, but always graceful. People will project their hidden desires onto you, and in trying to figure you out, they'll fall deeper under your influence. Don't give a damn about pleasing others. Live for pleasure. Surround yourself with beauty and treat life itself as an art. That's why the dandy seduces without effort. They make freedom itself look magnetic. Seductive role number 5, the natural. Think about children. They don't need techniques to win people's attention. Their laughter, curiosity, and innocence disarm you instantly. Adults may roll their eyes, but deep down, everyone craves that same freedom. The natural embodies this power. They possess childlike qualities, spontaneity, sincerity, and playfulness that make them irresistibly charming. Around them, you drop your guard, and you're transported back to that golden age. Naturals make a virtue of their weaknesses. They can seem naive, vulnerable, even a little helpless, and that draws sympathy, protection, and desire. At the same time, they remind us of something we've buried under adulthood: unself-conscious joy. Napoleon Bonaparte was a natural, famous for ambition and unstoppable determination. He had moments of childlike excitement, impulsive, energetic, unfiltered. He was magnetic. People wanted to be near that energy, even when they knew he was dangerous. The natural isn't childish. They aren't naive. They revive what's been lost, the spontaneity and openness of childhood, and turn it into power. There are many types of the natural, and the most magnetic combine more than one. The innocent. They seem naive, a little uncertain about the world. In an adult, that innocence is disarming and often funny. Their weakness, real or staged, makes you want to protect them. The imp. Playful, daring, fearless. Like children who don't realize they can get hurt, the imp teases and pushes boundaries. Their boldness feels refreshing. You don't take offense, you get intrigued. The wonder. Some are gifted with talent, music, art, sport, that seems effortless, almost supernatural. The undefensive lover. Most adults carry scars. They wall themselves off to avoid pain, but that only makes them rigid and predictable. But the undefensive lover is the opposite. They stay open, physically graceful, emotionally receptive, curious about life. Their openness makes others feel safe enough to drop their own guard. What all these types share is joy. Naturals radiate a mood of play and possibility, and moods are contagious. That's the natural's secret. They awaken the child within us, and once that child comes alive, resistance is almost impossible. Seductive role number 6, the coquette. The coquette seduces not by giving, but by holding back. They know that nothing is more addictive than desire denied. A glance here, a smile there, then sudden distance. This rhythm of hope and frustration keeps people hooked, chasing the reward that always feels just out of reach. Look at Queen Elizabeth I. Surrounded by ambitious men, she kept them circling around her for decades without ever committing. She gave just enough, private meetings, flattering words, playful affection, to keep them burning with hope. But every time they thought they were close, she pulled away. The result? Lords and princes fought over her attention, offering loyalty, power, and gifts in return for promises that never came true. By holding back her affection, Elizabeth kept her heart and her kingdom under her own command. That's the coquette's greatest weapon, the ability to delay satisfaction. People want what they can't have, and that simple truth gives the coquette control. So, to embody the coquette, never give total satisfaction. Offer warmth, then retreat. Be present, then disappear. The more you delay, the deeper their desire grows. Seductive role number 7, the charmer. If the coquette seduces by creating tension, the charmer seduces by softening it. Their secret is simple. They make you feel good about yourself. In their presence, you feel lighter, more confident, more seen. And because life is full of pressure and judgment, people can't resist someone who brings relief. At the French court of Louis XV, survival depended on the king's mood. Real power belonged to those who could charm, entertain, and manipulate the king and his inner circle. In this game, courtiers learned to flatter without seeming false, to smile at rivals without showing malice, to turn every interaction into a small gift of pleasure. Their lives depended on making people feel valued. That's the charmer's power. They disarm conflicts with humor, listen without judgment, and compliment so subtly it feels completely sincere. People crave their presence because it leaves them uplifted and understood. To embody the charmer, shift the spotlight outward. Here are Robert Greene's laws to become a charmer. Make others the center of attention. Fade into the background and let them shine. Be a source of pleasure. Don't dump your problems. Listen to theirs and lift their mood with humor, distraction, or comfort. Mirror their energy. People are narcissists. They love seeing themselves reflected. Stay calm under pressure. Never complain or justify yourself. Calm confidence is magnetic. It makes people trust you. Make yourself useful. Subtly enhance the lives of others. Offer small solutions, add value without showing off. Always deliver. Empty promises destroy charm. And here's the art behind it. Talk less about yourself. Fascination will grow naturally. Show genuine curiosity in others. They'll open up without knowing why. Cut out negativity. That's the charmer's secret. They make life feel lighter, and once people associate you with pleasure and relief, they'll never want to let you go. Seductive role number 8, the charismatic. Charisma is not just charm, it's presence. The belief that someone carries a special destiny. Charismatics radiate confidence so strongly that others can't help but believe in them. Take John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Calm under pressure, clever in conversation, effortlessly confident. His style, youthful, polished, controlled, made people see him as the future of America. He inspired rather than lectured, lifting audiences simply by his presence. The secret of the charismatic is absolute self-belief. When you never show doubt, others stop doubting you. When you appear chosen by fate, people give themselves over to your will. If you want to embody charisma, start with inner certainty. Believe fully in your path. Speak with conviction. Stay calm when others panic. Project confidence so unshakable that people feel safer just standing near you. That's the foundation of charisma. So what exactly makes someone charismatic? Robert Greene breaks charisma down into qualities you can cultivate. Purpose. People will follow you if they believe you know where you're going. The exact goal doesn't matter. What matters is conviction. Pick a cause, a vision, and never waver. Mystery. At charisma's core lies contradiction. Most people are predictable. When you mix warmth with distance, boldness with restraint, the effect is magnetic. People lean in, trying to solve you. Saintliness. People are drawn to those who live by their convictions, because people crave purity in a corrupt world. Eloquence. Charismatics speak with words that light people up. Rhythms, slogans, chants, but the true power comes from passion behind the words. Theatricality. A charismatic is impossible to ignore. They command silence, hold a room, and make every gesture feel charged with meaning. Freedom. While others repress themselves, the charismatic radiates freedom, of risk, of desire, of death, and that liberation is irresistible. Fervency. Belief is contagious. Throw your whole being into a cause, and others will feel the fire in your eyes. Vulnerability. A touch of emotion makes charisma human. It softens the aura of destiny and pulls people closer. Adventurousness. Charismatics take risks publicly, inspiring others to be bold. Magnetism. Above all, it's in the eyes, calm but piercing, charged with intensity, impossible to ignore. Together, these qualities create the aura of destiny. People feel they're not just following a person, they're stepping into a greater purpose. Seductive role number 9, the star. The star seduces not by chasing attention, but by drawing it in. They shine from a distance, letting others project dreams and desires onto them. The secret is mystery. The less you reveal, the more people imagine. Take Keanu Reeves. He doesn't chase attention. He moves quietly, avoiding the noise of fame. That silence became his aura. People project their own stories onto him. Kindness, wisdom, even sadness. The less he reveals, the more we imagine. And that's what makes him magnetic. That's the essence of the star. They don't compete. They captivate by embodying mystery and distance. They feed our craving for escape from everyday life, offering a life we can only dream about. But the danger is exposure. Show too much, and the aura breaks. So, how do you become a star? Greene lays out the keys. Presence. Your style, your look, your aura. Something about you must fill the room. Mystery. Keep your tone, your face, your image slightly blank, so others project their desires onto you. What they imagine is always stronger than reality. Selective revelation. Drop hints without showing the full picture. A cause you care about, a secret passion. James Dean did this. His interest in Eastern philosophy and the occult made him seem deep, unknowable, even haunted. That hint of mystery fueled his legend. Performance. Everyone is acting, but the star knows it. They curate their image carefully, radiating beauty or glamour. When you control your appearance, you control the fantasies people build around you. That's the star's power. They don't demand attention. They attract it. By staying just beyond reach, they become a symbol, a dream, an illusion people can't stop chasing. Act 2. What kills attraction? Not everyone draws people in. Some do the exact opposite. They repel them without even realizing it. Robert Greene calls them the Anti-Seducers, 10 types of people whose habits kill attraction before it even starts. The key trait all anti-seducers share is insecurity. Where seducers project confidence and focus outward, anti-seducers obsess over themselves. They talk too much, impose too much, demand too much. Instead of pulling you in, they push you away. Let's break them down. Seduction killer number 1, the brute. The brute is impatient. They think desire can be forced, rushed, taken by demand. But real seduction is a dance. The waiting is part of the pleasure. The brute skips all that, breaking through defenses and killing attraction. Think of the pushy guy who texts 20 times in an hour. The manager who thinks authority equals admiration. The date who rushes intimacy before any real connection. All brutes and all repulsive. Want to test if someone's a brute? Make them wait. A true seducer grows more magnetic with time. A brute grows irritated, demanding, even angry, exposing their weakness. Seduction killer number 2, the vain. The vain make everything about themselves. They obsess over how they look, how they sound, how they're perceived, while giving you nothing in return. You've met someone like this before. Whatever the topic, they twist it back to themselves. At first, you might admire their confidence, but soon it feels unbearable. Their need for validation drains all the pleasure from the interaction. Or the friend who turns every story into a monologue about themselves. They don't make you feel special. They make you feel invisible. That's why vanity kills attraction. A real seducer flips that. They make you the center of the story. They ask questions. They listen. They reflect your best side back to you. And that's what makes their presence addictive. So if you want to avoid this trap, shift your focus outward. Stop performing and start getting curious. Let others shine in your presence. Because genuine curiosity is so rare. It leaves people wanting more. Seduction killer number 3, the miser. Nothing ruins desire faster than a lack of generosity. And it's not just about money. Misers are tight with everything. Time, affection, attention. Instead of creating abundance, they create scarcity. Being around them feels like being starved. At royal courts, it was obvious. The generous courtiers filled rooms with banquets, gifts, and laughter. The misers sat holding tight to their purses, refusing to risk or give. People mocked them, because cheapness doesn't just reveal frugality, It shows a small spirit. Robert Greene calls the miser the worst kind of anti-seducer. Why? Because seduction is about expansion. It's about making someone feel bigger, freer, more alive. The miser does the opposite. Their refusal to give makes you feel smaller just being in their presence. This behavior hasn't gone anywhere. Think of the date who insists on splitting the bill down to the last cent, the friend who never shows up unless it benefits them, the partner who treats affection like a ration, giving you the bare minimum instead of warmth. That's miser behavior, and it pushes people away. The cure is simple. Generosity is magnetic. It doesn't have to mean money. It can be attention, laughter, a thoughtful gift, or even just time spent making someone feel valued. These gestures create the atmosphere where desire can grow, but holding back always kills desire. Seduction killer number 4, the Chatterbox. Seduction is built on silence, mystery, and suggestion. The Chatterbox kills all three. They can't stop talking, usually about themselves, and in the process, they erase intrigue. You've met this type. You ask a simple question, and suddenly you're drowning in details you never wanted. At first, you nod politely, but soon it feels suffocating. Instead of being intrigued, you're looking for an escape. Think of the date who gives you their entire life story before the appetizers arrive. The coworker who mistakes small talk for a TED Talk. All chatterboxes and all exhausting. They don't see the real issue. Their words aren't about you. They're about filling silence, calming their own nerves. But silence is powerful. It creates anticipation. It lets the imagination do the work. If you want to avoid this trap, talk less and listen more. Embrace pauses. Ask questions and let others reveal themselves. In seduction, a single glance or a half sentence is worth more than a flood of words. Seduction killer number 5, the sensitive one. Nothing kills attraction faster than oversensitivity. The sensitive one can't laugh at themselves, can't take a joke, and turns every remark into an insult. Instead of creating ease, they create tension, forcing everyone to tiptoe around them. Imagine trying to flirt with someone who treats every playful comment as an attack. What should feel light and fun turns heavy and uncomfortable. Robert Greene calls them reactors, because that's all they do. React to protect their fragile egos. They're so focused on themselves, they can't relax, can't play. But seduction thrives on playfulness. Think of the friend who gets offended at every joke in the group chat, or the colleague who treats casual feedback like a personal attack. Being around them isn't fun, it's exhausting. If you want to avoid this trap, learn to laugh at yourself. Let small minor things slide. Stay playful. A sense of ease is seductive, but someone who turns every moment into an injury, they kill the mood instantly. Seduction killer number 6, the Bumbler. If the brute kills attraction with force, the Bumbler kills it with nervousness. They overthink every move, trip over their words, and radiate self-doubt. Instead of making others feel comfortable, they spread their own awkwardness. Seduction depends on confidence and flow. A pause at the right moment, a playful remark, a glance that holds, these create momentum. The Bumbler has none of that. They hesitate, apologize, second guess. What should feel smooth and natural becomes uncomfortable. It's like dancing with someone too nervous to lead. You don't lose balance because of your own steps, but because their uncertainty throws you off. That's the effect of the Bumbler. Their awkwardness becomes yours. Robert Greene's point is simple. Seduction requires boldness. Even small acts like holding eye contact, leaning closer, or making a light joke demand confidence. The Bumbler ruins it by constantly showing doubt. And you see them everywhere. The date who keeps saying sorry after every sentence. The colleague who fills every silence with nervous laughter. Their insecurity makes everyone else feel insecure too. To avoid this trap, practice presence. Stop thinking about yourself and focus fully on the other person. Boldness isn't perfection. It's forward movement without hesitation. When you stop overthinking, you stop bumbling, and others can finally relax into your lead. Seduction killer number 7, the Suffocator. Seduction needs space. Desire grows in the gap between what you want and what you can have. The Suffocator destroys that gap. They become dependent, demand too much, and overwhelm you with attention before desire has a chance to grow. A perfect example of this comes from Josephine Bonaparte. She was adored by many men, but she constantly rejected those who chased her too openly. She preferred lovers who kept her guessing, who gave her room to breathe. To her, too much passion felt like a kind of cage. That's the trap of the suffocator. They confuse love with control, believing that constant giving will make them indispensable. But that kind of giving comes from fear, not confidence. And fear kills desire. Think of the partner who texts 10 times before you even reply once. The friend who demands constant reassurance and attention. They think it's love, but it feels like pressure. To avoid this trap, learn restraint. Hold back. Give space. Let the other person come towards you instead of chasing them down. Real seduction isn't about flooding someone with affection. It's about leaving just enough distance that they lean in, craving more. Seduction killer number 8, the Moralizer. Seduction is a game. It thrives on play, pleasure, and freedom. The Moralizer kills all of that by turning pleasure into guilt. They lecture, they judge, they shame you for your desires or pressure you to follow their standards. Instead of making life feel lighter, they make it heavier. And nothing is less seductive than someone who makes you feel trapped or shamed. The partner who criticizes every little pleasure, your food, your drink, your shows, until you feel guilty for enjoying anything. The friend who turns every conversation into a lecture about what's right or wrong. The date who constantly polices language, jokes, or behavior, making you feel like you're under review instead of at play. That's Moralizer energy, and it kills attraction instantly. Robert Greene's advice is simple. Drop the judgment. Stop trying to fix or correct people. Seduction is about freedom, not rules. A true seducer doesn't limit others with morality. They free them to let go and enjoy. Seduction killer number 9, the Windbag. A single word, well placed, can be seductive. The Windbag doesn't get this. They drown you in endless talk, explanations, and stories. Instead of creating intrigue, they bury you in noise. The Windbag's real problem is insecurity. They fear silence, so they rush to fill it. But silence is what keeps people hooked. A pause, a glance, a suggestion. These leave room for desire to build. Seduction grows in what's left unsaid. Think of the date who never lets you get a word in. The coworker who turns a 5-minute update into a 30-minute monologue. Or the friend who explains every tiny detail of their day until you're exhausted. That's Windbag energy, and it pushes people away. If you want to avoid this trap, remember, less is more. Speak with rhythm. Use words to hint, not explain. Let silence do the work for you. Seduction killer number 10, the Vulgarian. Vulgarians are careless in appearance and shamelessly obvious about what they want. Their lack of restraint makes everything around them lose its magic. And nothing kills attraction faster than feeling ordinary. The Vulgarian doesn't understand subtlety. They show off their money, dress without style, or push their desires so directly that all mystery disappears. Instead of creating fantasy, they force reality in your face. Think of the date who shows off about their car or salary in the first 5 minutes. The person who overshares intimate details before any trust is built. That's Vulgarian energy. It doesn't seduce, it repels. The lesson is clear. If you want to be seductive, elevate the mood. Pay attention to detail. Refine your tastes, your words, your gestures. Lift others out of the ordinary and make them feel special. Don't show off, hint. Don't grab, invite. The Vulgarian traps people in ugliness. The seducer lifts them into beauty. We've looked at how seducers operate. Now it's time to flip the perspective. Who do they seduce? Act 3. Who gets seduced? Seduction always begins with a gap. Nobody feels complete. Everyone carries some emptiness, a hunger for romance, adventure, validation, or escape. And the people we fall for are usually the ones who seem to fill that missing piece. The mistake most people make is looking only at surface traits, what someone says about themselves, or how they act in public. But that's not where desire lives. A timid person may secretly crave courage. A strict moralist may secretly crave forbidden pleasure. People wear masks to hide their weaknesses, but their true desires always reveal themselves in the way they look at you or in what they choose to share. If you pay attention, those signals reveal what they're missing. That's your leverage. The more precisely you identify it, the more power you have, because you can become the one who fulfills it. But Greene gives 2 warnings. First, don't assume others lack what you lack. That's projection and it blinds you. Second, never try to seduce your own type. 2 people missing the same piece are like puzzles with the same hole. Nothing fits. So how do you figure out what someone craves? Chapter 1. The Target Types. Greene breaks it down into 4 basic personality types. Each carries a hidden need. Once you spot it, you'll know exactly which role to play. Type 1. The nostalgic. They live in the past. Childhood summers, first romances, the good old days. If you can reawaken that memory, give them a taste of what they've lost, they'll see you as the one who brings back time itself. Type 2. The escapist. They feel trapped by work, by family, by routine. They crave freedom, adventure, risk. To seduce them, become the doorway to another world. Give them a taste of escape, and they'll hold on to you like a lifeline. Type 3. The self-indulgent. They want to be loved exactly as they are, strange, flawed, and all. Their secret need is validation. Make them feel fascinating for who they are instead of flawed, and they'll attach to you instantly. Type 4. The seeker. They're on a quest. They've built an ideal of what love or life should look like, and they're searching for someone who embodies that dream. If you can reflect even a piece of their fantasy, they'll believe destiny brought you into their life. The truth is this: people are never whole, and the moment you discover what's missing in someone, you stop being just another face in the crowd. You become the answer they've been waiting for. Chapter 2. The Seductive Victims. Beyond personality types, Greene goes deeper into what makes certain people truly vulnerable to seduction. He introduces victim archetypes, profiles shaped by experience, pain, or desire. Each carries a unique weak spot, and if you can identify it, you'll know exactly how to make them fall for you. Seductive victim number 1. The reformed Rake or Siren. Once they were magnetic, the center of attention. The Rake who chased conquests night after night, or the Siren whose presence turned heads effortlessly. But time has passed. Maybe they've married, aged, or settled down. On the surface, they look different, but inside, they ache to feel that power again. Think of the once famous party girl, who now posts about her quiet family life, yet lights up at the slightest hint of attention. Or the aging playboy who swears he's done chasing women, yet his eyes betray him the moment someone treats him like he's still dangerous. To seduce them, you need to be subtle. Don't make it obvious you're reviving their charm. Let them believe the old magic never left, that they're the one seducing you. That illusion is powerful, because it gives them back the self they feared was gone. Seductive victim number 2. The disappointed dreamer. Some people spend their youth lost in novels, poems, and films, imagining grand romances and epic adventures. They believe their life will play out like a storybook romance. But reality rarely matches the dream. The job is boring, the relationship routine, and yet that hunger never dies. Think of someone who grew up watching Disney or Hollywood love stories that had happy ending. As they got older, their dreams changed from perfect love to a perfect life. Now they scroll through Instagram travel reels, watching strangers who seem to be living the life they once dreamed of. They're easy to seduce. All you have to do is awaken that lost feeling again. Because the disappointed dreamer's imagination does half the work for you. A hint of mystery, a touch of romance, and they'll fill in the rest. Take them on a late-night drive, and they'll turn it into a love story in their minds. Give them a taste of adventure, and they'll write the whole story with you at its center. But there's a risk. The moment reality sets in, the dream begins to fade. When things become too practical, too predictable, too ordinary, the spell breaks. Keep feeding the illusion instead. Let them dream, and you'll become the embodiment of the life they always wanted. Seductive victim number 3. The spoiled child. The spoiled child has had everything handed to them: attention, affection, luxury. Treated like royalty from childhood, they grow up expecting the world to keep giving. But endless spoiling creates a problem: boredom. They're never satisfied, always chasing novelty, always demanding more. What they secretly crave is someone who can match their appetite for excitement and still provide the stability they lack. So, to seduce the spoiled child, surprise them. Give them new experiences, playful distractions, and a rhythm that keeps them guessing. They'll cling to the one person who can keep their boredom away. But there's another layer. Deep down, the spoiled child seeks a parental figure, a steady presence, protective, someone who can spoil them in just the right way. If you create that balance, offering both novelty and stability, you'll become their anchor. Be warned, though, their instability comes at a cost. Their lives are full of drama, shifting jobs, fragile friendships, short-lived romances. If you can't keep feeding their hunger for stimulation, they'll quickly move on to the next source of excitement. Seductive victim number 4, the prude. The prude lives for appearances. They care deeply about what's respectable and acceptable in the eyes of others. On the surface, they seem rigid, moral, even judgmental. But here's the paradox. They secretly crave the opposite, transgression. They long for someone daring enough to break the very rules they've chained themselves to. Think of the coworker who never swears, corrects every joke, and acts like they're above it all, but secretly binge-watches reality shows full of drama and temptation. They act pure, but inside, they're waiting for someone unafraid to take them into forbidden territory. To seduce the prude, don't argue or try to convince them. Instead, embody a touch of danger. Give them something to criticize, even to change in you. In the process, they'll be seduced by the very pleasures they pretend to condemn. The trick is balance. Push too hard, and they'll turn defensive. But tempt them carefully with suggestion, playfulness, and just a hint of scandal, and you'll awaken their hidden fascination with the forbidden. Seductive victim number 5, the fallen star. Once they were the center of attention, the beauty everyone admired, the talent everyone envied, the star everyone wanted near. But time moved on, and the spotlight shifted. On the outside, they act like they don't care. Inside, they crave the glow they once had. The fallen star still carries the memory of being desired, and they're just waiting for someone to remind them. Think of the ex-athlete who still talks about their college glory days. One moment of admiration, and you can watch them come back to life. To win them over, put them back in the spotlight. Make them feel seen, admired, celebrated. Let them shine, and they'll associate you with the return of their power. The more you reflect their glow, the more they'll reflect it back to you. Seductive victim number 6, the novice. The novice is innocent, inexperienced, and secretly dying of curiosity. They stand at the edge of the unknown, half terrified, half fascinated. What they crave is a guide, someone who can open the door to a world they've only imagined. Casanova built his reputation on novices. He knew they were dangerously easy prey. With one girl, he acted playful and harmless, like a companion who seemed safe. With another, he revealed just enough a touch of danger wrapped in romance to excite her without pushing her away. He mastered the balance between excitement and fear, offering just enough darkness to thrill without ever terrifying them. Novices don't need obvious seduction. Their imaginations do most of the work. A single romantic move, a hint of mystery, or the slightest suggestion awakens a world of possibilities. And what makes them irresistible to every seducer is this. They want to learn, and they want to learn from you. Think of someone who's never dated seriously, who grew up overprotected but spends nights binge-watching romance dramas. They talk about wanting new experiences, but have no idea where to begin. If you can play the role of guide, half innocent, half dangerous, you'll awaken their curiosity and pull them straight into your world. Seductive victim number 7, the competitor. The competitor is fueled by challenge. They see life as a game, always searching for obstacles to overcome and people to win. What excites them isn't possession, it's the chase. Give in too easily, and they lose interest. Resist, and you become their obsession. Queen Elizabeth I mastered this. Surrounded by suitors, she fed their desire but never satisfied it. She never gave herself away fully, offering just enough resistance to make kings and princes fight for her attention. For her, the chase was more thrilling than the capture. Seducing a competitor means keeping the game alive. Never too simple, never fully won. Stay out of reach, unpredictable, impossible to possess. Give them something to struggle against, and they'll keep coming back, drawn by the tension. Seductive victim number 8, the exotic fanatic. Some people are obsessed with the unknown. They're drawn to what feels foreign, mysterious, or forbidden, anything that breaks the monotony of their world. They're not hungry for comfort. They're hungry for escape. To seduce an exotic fanatic, you must embody that air of mystery. If you truly come from another culture or background, you already have an advantage. If not, you can still create the illusion through rare tastes, a distinctive style, or simply by refusing to follow the crowd. Think of the person who collects souvenirs from every country, listens to world music, or idolizes free-spirited travelers on Instagram. They're fascinated by what they don't have. Present yourself as the doorway into that world, and they'll chase you for the thrill of escape. Seductive victim number 9, the drama queen. For some people, calm is unbearable. They need turbulence, emotional highs and lows that make them feel alive. These are the drama queens. For them, quarrels, jealousies, tears, and reconciliations aren't problems. They're fuel. The drama queen is easy to recognize. They'll tell you stories of betrayal, heartbreak, and chaos. Look closer, and you'll see that much of it is self-created. Picture the person who can't go a week without posting a crisis on social media, or who turns every romance into a cycle of explosive fights and tearful reunions. They're not looking for stability, they're addicted to the highs and lows. To win over a drama queen, you have to play along with their game. Keep them off balance. Charm, withdraw. Provoke a touch of jealousy. Don't give them calm, give them fire. The more chaos you create, the deeper they'll fall, because you're giving them exactly what they secretly live for. Seductive victim number 10, the professor. The professor can't stop thinking. They analyze every word, every gesture, every feeling, until all spontaneity disappears. They take pride in their intellect, but deep down, they long for freedom from their own thoughts, a kind of peace they can never find on their own. Jean-Jacques Rousseau was the perfect example. Brilliant, obsessive, endlessly reflective. He dissected his own emotions and the motives of everyone around him. Yet he constantly fell for lovers who pulled him out of his head, women who overwhelmed him with sensuality and presence. For all his intellect, what he craved most was to feel. Think of someone who overthinks, Googles relationship advice late at night, or rewrites a text 10 times before sending it. They seem detached, even rational. But what they really want is someone who draws them into passion, something they can't reduce to logic. The way to seduce a professor isn't by competing with their mind, but by letting them keep their sense of superiority. Instead, give them what no amount of analysis can deliver: raw emotion, physical experience, even a touch of spontaneity. Seductive victim number 11, the beauty. From the moment they were young, the beauty lived under the eyes of others. Admiration gave them power, but also built a prison. They constantly fear their beauty is losing its power, that they're no longer the center of attention, that their worth is vanishing in the crowd. Greta Garbo embodied this. Idolized as one of the most captivating women of her time, she grew increasingly insecure with age. She withdrew from Hollywood, fearing the day her beauty would no longer captivate. The very gift that made her powerful became her curse. That's the vulnerability of the beauty. They crave to be seen beyond appearances. Flattery about their looks will please them, but it isn't enough. What truly seduces is admiration for their mind, their talents, or their character. Think of the Instagram model who lives for likes, but secretly fears being forgotten. Or the person who's always been the pretty one in their group, but craves to be valued for more. They want someone who notices what everyone else overlooks. To seduce the beauty, admire their hidden qualities, stimulate their mind, admire their skills, let them feel capable and unique. And when the moment's right, step back, so they feel their power to attract. That tension keeps them hooked, because you've given them something no mirror ever could: inner beauty. Seductive victim number 12, the big baby. Some people never grow up. In their 20s, their playful irresponsibility feels exciting. In their 30s, it's still tolerable. But by their 40s, the charm starts to fade. Think of the adult who still parties like a teenager, who bounces between jobs or partners, and leans on others to handle the serious stuff. The big baby stays irresponsible, indulgent, and underneath it all, desperate for someone to take care of them. The key to winning over the big baby is to step into the role of the responsible adult. Don't scold them. That only makes them retreat. Instead, offer patience, order, and dependability. Be the steady, nurturing figure who provides structure without killing their playfulness. The more you become their anchor, the more attached they'll become. Seductive victim number 13, The rescuer. Some people are addicted to saving others. They see vulnerability, sadness, or struggle, and they rush in to help. On the surface, it looks like kindness. But underneath lies a need to feel indispensable, the one who heals, the one who fixes. Lord Byron, the infamous poet, attracted countless women by playing the tortured soul. He cultivated an aura of suffering, hinting at wounds too deep to heal. Women felt chosen, special, even noble for trying to save him. He rewarded their devotion with heartbreak, then moved on to the next woman eager to play the savior. That's the weakness of the rescuer. They're not drawn to perfection, but to pain. Show them a side of your wounds and they'll pour themselves into you. Think of someone who's always in relationships with projects, partners with bad habits, messy pasts, or emotional baggage. They listen deeply, they offer comfort, and they can't resist someone who seems a little broken. To seduce a rescuer, don't oversell your strength. Instead, let them see your wounds. Hint that you've been hurt, that life has been unfair, that you need someone who truly understands. They'll step into the role without hesitation, and once they do, they'll struggle to let go. Seductive victim number 14, the Roué. The Roué has lived for the thrill of experience. They've chased every desire, tasted every pleasure. But excess breeds boredom. They've seen it all, done it all, and now nothing excites them. Think of the burned-out celebrity who's been through countless affairs. They seem untouchable, but when they meet someone playful, uncorrupted, or seemingly pure, their armor begins to crack. What excites them isn't another pleasure. It's the reminder of what they've lost, the joy of wanting. To win over a Roué, be fresh, be innocent, but never entirely theirs. Because they don't want what's easy. They crave the thrill of pursuit. Seductive victim number 15, the Idolater. Some people can't live without something or someone to believe in. They're always searching for a figure to admire, someone who lives above the ordinary world. These are the idolaters, and their emptiness makes them especially easy to seduce. What they truly want is someone who embodies their ideals. It could be strength, purity, rebellion, or creativity, whatever they admire but feel they lack. Present yourself as that figure, and they'll project their desire onto you. Think of superfans who obsess over celebrities or spiritual gurus. They follow every post, every word, desperate for meaning. Their devotion isn't really about the person, it's about filling the emptiness inside themselves. To seduce an idolater, don't hold back. Show yourself. Embrace theatricality, conviction, and presence. Become the embodiment of what they long for, and they'll fall completely under your influence. But Greene gives 2 warnings. First, idolaters are restless and suspicious. Their minds overanalyze everything. The way to disarm them isn't through more words or reasoning. It's through physical stimulation. Take them on adventures, lead them into passion, carry them into physical thrills, sex, movement, excitement, anything that silences their doubts and strengthens their devotion. Second, idolaters often struggle with low self-esteem. Don't try to fix it. Reassurance or praise will only clash with their own self-doubt. Remember, their role is to give you adoration, not expect it back. Step fully into the figure they crave, and their adoration will flow toward you, total, consuming, and blind. Seductive victim number 16, the sensualist. Some people don't just see the world, they feel it. Colors, scents, textures, music, every detail strikes them deeply. These are the sensualists. Their weakness is simple. When you overwhelm their senses, you overwhelm them. To seduce a sensualist, master detail. Take them somewhere beautiful. Surround them with music, fragrance, and color. Use touch, taste, and texture. The more senses you awaken, the weaker their defenses. Think of someone obsessed with fine dining, design, or travel. Their Instagram is a gallery of sunsets, outfits, and aesthetic shots. They're not just showing off, they're chasing experiences that make them feel alive. With a sensualist, don't rely on words. Build an atmosphere. Every choice matters. The music playing, the way you dress, the scent in the air. Create a world that delights their senses, and they'll be yours without even noticing. Seductive victim number 17, the Monarch. Power looks glamorous from the outside. But for those who live with it, it often feels like a prison. Monarchs, CEOs, leaders, everyone flatters them, fears them, or wants something from them. What they rarely get is honesty, equality, and real intimacy. And that's their weakness. Napoleon Bonaparte himself craved this. Surrounded by generals and courtiers who bowed at every word, he was captivated by Josephine because she treated him differently. She teased him, resisted him, even ignored him at times. For a man idolized by armies, that kind of indifference felt irresistible. To seduce a monarch, you must break through their isolation. Think of the celebrity who lives in a bubble of assistants, fans, and yes-men. They don't need more adoration. What they crave is someone who dares to see the person behind the image. Someone who can joke with them, challenge them, even say no. The monarch doesn't want another servant. They want someone bold enough to break through their loneliness. Seductive victim number 18, the androgynous. Most people feel trapped by gender roles. Men are expected to act one way, women another. But deep down, many long to explore the side of themselves they've been forced to hide. That's the power of the androgynous. Oscar Wilde embodied this. With his sharp humor and flamboyant style, he blurred the line between masculine and feminine. Both men and women were drawn to him because he gave them permission to break free from roles that felt suffocating. That's the vulnerability of the androgynous target. They're looking for someone who reflects the hidden side of themselves, someone who makes them feel whole by combining qualities they've been told to suppress. Think of how many people today are captivated by artists or influencers who mix masculine and feminine energy through fashion, style, or personality. For those who feel repressed, being near someone fluid is liberating, even irresistible. To seduce the androgynous, don't box yourself in. Show strength and softness, boldness and sensitivity. Let them see that you're not bound by rules. The more you blur the lines, the more they'll feel they can finally explore their own hidden self, with you as the guide. Act 4. How does seduction actually happen? Congrats on making it this far. By now, you've seen every side of the game. You know what kind of seducer you are, the qualities that draw people in. You've spotted the anti-seducer traits that kill attraction, and you've met the targets, their desires, their weaknesses, the emptiness they want someone to fill. So now comes the real question. How does seduction actually happen? Because seduction isn't a line, a look, or a single clever move. It's a process. You don't rush to the goal. You lead someone step by step through an experience they can't forget. Robert Greene breaks this into 4 phases, each building toward the finale. If you rush, the spell breaks. Because what makes seduction powerful isn't the end, it's the anticipation, the waiting, the drama that plays out along the way. Phase 1, separation, the first moves. Every seduction begins with a break. You can't seduce someone who's fully absorbed in their routines. First, you have to pull them out of their ordinary world by stirring curiosity. Once you have their attention, the game begins. Chapter 1. Choose the right victim. Every seduction begins before the first word is spoken. It starts with who you choose to seduce. Take Casanova. He never wasted time on women who were perfectly happy. He looked for the dissatisfied, the ones trapped in loveless marriages, the ones craving something more. That hidden hunger made them far more receptive. In reality, not everyone can be seduced. Someone busy or absorbed in their career will resist. But someone restless, someone isolated or bored, that's where opportunity lies. However, choosing the right person isn't just about their weakness. It's also about what they bring out in you. Robert Greene says, the perfect victim is the one who stirs both fear and attraction. That tension keeps the chase alive. Greene illustrates this with the novel Les Liaisons Dangereuses, inspired by real personalities and behavior from the libertine culture of pre-revolutionary France. In it, the young Vicomte de Valmont, one of Paris's most notorious libertines, had seduced countless women. But the game had grown too easy, too predictable. Then he met Madame de Tourvel, a serious, devoted wife, staying at a country chateau. On the surface, she was plain in dress, serious in manner, and completely devoted to her husband. Not the obvious choice. But for Valmont, her innocence became irresistible. The very fact that she seemed beyond reach made conquering her the ultimate challenge. And that's the point. The right victim isn't always the most beautiful or available person. It's the one who forces you to be more daring, more alive. So before you make a move, study people. Don't just listen to what they say. Notice the blush, the nervous laugh, the shift in mood when certain topics come up. Those tiny signals reveal the hunger inside. Once you see it, the game begins. Chapter 2. Create a false sense of security. Approach indirectly. Come at someone too directly, and their defenses rise. That's why the second rule of seduction is simple. Don't attack directly. Approach from the side. It should feel like accident, like fate, like a friendship that slowly turns into something more. Your target should never feel manipulated. They should feel in control, as if the whole thing was their idea. Be subtle. You lower defenses by hiding intent. Maybe you start neutral, moving gradually from friend to lover. Or you arrange a few chance encounters until it feels like destiny brought you together. Once they feel safe, you move closer, step by step. You can see the strategy in the story of the Duchesse de Montpensier, known as La Grande Mademoiselle, one of the richest women in 17th century France. For decades, men courted her for her fortune. Then came the Duc de Lauzun. He didn't flirt openly. He became her friend, talking with her about theater, poetry, politics. For months, she barely noticed, but soon she found herself missing him. His presence became the highlight of her day, and she believed she was the one falling for him. And that's the trick. By playing the friend, you gather secrets, tastes, habits, vulnerabilities. You let them relax, and when the moment finally shifts, a compliment, a touch, they're caught off guard. They wonder, why hasn't this moved further already? And suddenly, they're the ones chasing you. There's nothing more powerful than making someone believe they're the seducer. Chapter 3. Send mixed signals. It's easy to catch attention, harder to keep it. People lose interest in what's clear. Mystery is what makes them stay. So send mixed signals. Show innocence, then confidence. Warmth, then distance. Strength, but also softness. Contradiction makes you fascinating because people can't quite figure you out. Take Queen Elizabeth I. She called herself the Virgin Queen, pure, untouchable, almost saintly. Yet she openly flirted with her courtiers, offering hope, then pulling it away. Was she a devoted woman or a calculating ruler? That paradox kept powerful men obsessed with her for decades. Seduction lives on these contradictions. The moment people start wondering who you really are, they begin filling in the blanks with imagination. The most powerful fuel you can awaken. Once they start imagining, they're hooked. So if people expect politeness, add a provocative twist. If they see you as confident, show a flash of vulnerability. If you're playful, let a serious side slip through. The point isn't to confuse, it's to stay unpredictable enough that curiosity never dies. Chapter 4. Appear to be an object of desire. Create triangles. Nothing fuels desire like seeing other people want the same thing. Attraction is contagious. When others are drawn to you, your value rises instantly. That's why Rudolph Valentino became the ultimate sex symbol of the 1920s. On screen, he wasn't just handsome, he was desired. Women trembled when he looked at them, fainted at his touch. And in theaters across America, real women fainted too. They didn't just want him, they wanted the man that other women wanted. This is the power of triangulation. The moment a third person enters the picture, attraction turns into obsession. If your target senses competition, winning you becomes a matter of pride. A photo where friends crowd around you makes you more attractive. Walk into a room where people light up at your presence, and suddenly your target feels the pull, because we want what others want. So how do you turn this to your advantage? Surround yourself with admirers, friends, or even past lovers who speak well of you. Let rumors of your desirability spread. Your reputation will do the seducing for you. Use contrast. If your target has to choose between chatting with you or someone boring, you shine brighter by comparison. And keep some distance. An object that feels rare and hard to obtain is always more prized. Think of it like this. Nobody wants to eat in an empty restaurant. But the moment you see a crowd lining up outside, you want a table too. Desire is social. It feeds on proof. That's the secret. Don't try to sell yourself directly. Make them believe everyone else already sees it. Once they feel they're competing for your attention, they'll work harder to win you and never realize the stage was set from the start. Chapter 5. Create temptation. By now, your target is intrigued, but curiosity alone doesn't last. To pull someone closer, make them feel something is missing, Then position yourself as the answer. That's how curiosity turns into desire, through temptation. The rule is simple. Build desire, but never satisfy it. Seduction isn't about giving, it's about holding back. You frustrate just enough to keep them hooked. Look at Casanova himself, who fell victim to the young courtesan Charpillon. From their first meeting, she warned him she'd ruin him. Each time he thought he'd conquered her, she pulled back, giving only a hint of pleasure. The chase consumed him, until he confessed he would have bankrupted himself for a single kiss. That's temptation, and it works best when it's just out of reach. Give them fragments, not the whole. A touch of skin, a hint of danger, a suggestion of a secret life. Their imagination will do the rest. And imagination is far stronger than reality. Let's say you post a photo. You're in front of a sunset, half smiling, eyes turned away from the camera. You didn't say where. You didn't say who you're with. You didn't say what happened. To someone scrolling, that's not about location. It's emotional. They don't crave your life. They crave the feeling you represent. They feel you're the missing piece that makes them whole. Chapter 6. Keep them in suspense. What comes next? Nothing kills desire faster than predictability. The moment someone feels they know what you'll do next, the interest fades. That's why every great seducer creates suspense, keeping others slightly off balance, always wondering what's coming. Casanova mastered this. He delayed pleasure, staged little dramas, told stories that always hinted at more. Every moment of waiting was thrilling. Every delay made the release 10 times more powerful. And suspense isn't just about holding back. It's also about rhythm, a well-timed absence, a sudden shift in tone, a word that hangs longer than it should. These small moments of uncertainty bypass logic and go straight to emotion. But suspense requires control. If you disappear too often or repeat the same tricks, the pattern becomes predictable. Repetition kills desire as surely as routine does. The secret is variation. Sometimes warmth, sometimes distance, sometimes silence, sometimes intensity. Not as contradiction, but as pacing, like a story unfolding, where each moment holds just enough tension to keep them wanting more. Suspense is the art of timing, striking emotion before reason catches up. So ask yourself, when people are with you, do they already know how it ends? Or do they leave wondering, what will happen next time? If it's the latter, you've done your job. Chapter 7. Master the art of insinuation. The most seductive words are not spoken directly. They slip in sideways, half said, half hidden. When something is too obvious, people put their guard up, but suggest it, and it slips past defenses, straight into imagination. Benjamin Disraeli, Queen Victoria's Prime Minister, mastered this with her. He never flattered her openly. Instead, his compliments seemed accidental, a remark about her intelligence, a joking nod to her presence. Because they felt unplanned, each landed deeper. Soon, she was enchanted by the one man who never seemed to be trying. That's the essence of insinuation. Planting ideas so subtly that your target believes they thought of them first. A passing glance, a slip of the tongue, a touch that seems unintentional. Each suggests desire without ever saying it. And insinuation works because it gives the illusion of freedom. Your target feels in control, unaware you're guiding their thoughts. The best suggestion mirrors their own emotions, reflects their values, or reflects a connection they already feel. But timing is everything. Make your insinuations when they're relaxed or distracted, when reason is quiet. Finally, remember, ambiguity is a double-edged sword. If you're too vague, your meaning may vanish or be misread. If you're too direct, you break the magic. Early on, that's fine, because mystery attracts. Later, when the moment is right, clarity seals the connection. Chapter 8. Enter their spirit. You can't change people by arguing with them. The more you try to convince, the more they close off. But step into their world, reflect their moods, their fears, their hidden desires, and they'll open up on their own. That's the secret of seduction. Not to fight resistance, but to dissolve it from within. Casanova mastered this. He never used one formula. He adapted to each woman. With a devout girl, he spoke of God and purity. With an intellectual, he debated philosophy. With a lonely young wife, he mirrored her sadness, then offered comfort. Each woman felt he saw her soul, when in truth he was simply reflecting what she needed to see. Barack Obama used the same power in politics. He didn't speak to people, he spoke like them. In a room of factory workers, his rhythm slowed. With students, his tone became curious and idealistic. Everyone felt he understood them, not because he told them what they wanted to hear, but because he mirrored how they saw themselves. In the end, it always comes back to this. People are narcissists. They don't fall in love with you. They fall in love with themselves, reflected in you. When you mirror their inner world, their guard drops. They open up. And in that moment, you slip into their imagination and stay there. But the real power comes when you mirror not just who they are now, but who they want to become. If they dream of adventure, play the co-adventurer. If they long for refinement, reflect elegance back at them. In you, they see both their current self and their ideal self. That's the paradox of seduction. They feel seen, understood, even powerful. But in seeing themselves in you, they hand you the mirror and all their control with it. Phase 2. Confusion and suspense. At this stage, your target's interest is real, but still fragile, pulled between pleasure and fear. Now the goal is to deepen their dependence. Create moments of intense connection, then sudden distance. Not to tease, but to unbalance. Confusion keeps them hooked because it feels like passion. And by the time they try to make sense of it, the spell is already too strong to break. Chapter 9. Use words to control emotion. Words don't just communicate, they manipulate. The right words bypass logic and go straight into emotion, leaving your target disarmed. The trick isn't to talk about yourself. It's to make them feel understood, because people resist logic, but they give in to feeling. Your words should flatter and suggest, not explain or argue. Keep your language vague and open to interpretation. A half-promise, a playful phrase, a compliment that sounds like a joke. These stay in the mind far longer than anything clear or direct. They let the other person imagine what you mean, and that imagination does the work for you. Don't waste time on facts or explanations. Plant ideas through rhythm and imagery, never explanation. Use words that paint a feeling instead of proving a point. A single sentence like, "It's strange how calm I feel when you're here," has more power than a long speech. Casanova understood this. In his letters, he never declared love directly. He wrote with rhythm and suggestion, just enough for his lovers to fill in the blanks. They didn't fall for his words. They fell for what those words made them imagine. So keep your words focused on feelings, not facts. But don't overdo it. Too much poetic language sounds fake. Sometimes silence after a loaded phrase is what creates the most desire. The goal isn't to convince, it's to create a feeling. Once someone feels instead of thinks, they stop questioning and start believing. Chapter 10. Pay attention to detail. Seduction doesn't live in spectacle. Grand gestures impress for a moment, but they look staged, even suspicious. But tiny, thoughtful details, those slip past defenses. They feel real. They make someone feel seen. In seduction, the smallest touches often carry the greatest weight. Rudolph Valentino understood this. He didn't just rely on his looks. Every detail was deliberate. The cut of his clothes, the way he moved across a room, the exotic sets in his films. And because of that precision, audiences didn't just watch him, they entered his world. A closer example is Timothée Chalamet. He seduces like Valentino, through precision disguised as ease. Every glance, every pause, every gesture feels unplanned, yet perfectly placed. His clothes look effortless, but are chosen with intent. His voice never rushes. Even silence becomes part of the performance. He doesn't demand attention. He draws it, detail by detail, until presence itself feels magnetic. That's the secret. Seduction lives in atmosphere, not argument. The right gestures, timing, and rituals make every moment feel intentional. Wearing a color they once admired. A casual comment that proves you were listening. These small things whisper, "This isn't random. You matter." Details also serve another purpose. Distraction. They keep the mind busy while you guide the emotion. When someone focuses on the small things, they stop noticing the bigger picture. And sometimes the most powerful detail is silence. A pause, a glance, an object left behind. So remember, master the details, and you won't need grand displays. Every small move becomes a message they can't quite explain, and that's what keeps them hooked. Chapter 11. Poeticize your presence. Seduction dies in the everyday, when you're predictable. It comes alive when you become a feeling, when your presence means something. Lord Byron understood this perfectly. He lived as if his life were a poem. Scandals, romances, exotic journeys. Women didn't just want him, they wanted to be part of his story. By turning himself into a legend, he made attraction feel like fate. That's the principle. Make your presence feel poetic. Connect your presence with images, moods, and mystery. When people think of you, they shouldn't remember details. They should remember sensations. Marcel Proust captured this idea in Remembrance of Things Past. The character Swann becomes obsessed with a woman who wasn't even his type. What captivated him wasn't her beauty. It was a melody from a concert they once attended. That song linked with her image, making her unforgettable. You can do this too. Associate yourself with poetic images, music, rituals, art, travel, anything that evokes emotion. And don't just elevate yourself, elevate them. Chateaubriand wrote poems that made women feel like goddesses. Benjamin Disraeli compared Queen Victoria to heroines of history. When you idealize someone, they begin to see you as the only one who revealed that light, and in lifting them up, you lift yourself with them. Chapter 12. Disarm with vulnerability. Power and confidence impress people, but they also intimidate. If you seem untouchable, people stop trusting you, but show a crack of weakness, and their guard drops. They feel empathy, even tenderness, and in that moment, they're disarmed. Think of Princess Diana. She carried the weight of royalty, a global icon defined by protocol and power. Yet beneath the crown, she let the world see her humanity. Where others in the royal family appeared distant, she showed warmth, a shy glance during interviews, a trembling voice, a tear she didn't try to hide. Those moments broke the illusion of perfection that usually surrounds power. She made people feel close to someone who, by title, should have been untouchable. And the more she showed her fragility, the more powerful her presence became. That's the principle. A touch of vulnerability humanizes you. It makes others feel important, strong where you're not. And in that imbalance, attachment grows. It all comes down to moderation. Too much weakness looks pathetic. Too much strength feels threatening. The art is in the mix. Show emotion only at rare moments. A flash of shyness, a trace of doubt, a hesitation in your voice. These little cracks make you real. They lower suspicion and deepen trust. And this principle extends far beyond love. In politics, a show of doubt or humility makes ambition feel sincere. A single moment of honesty can hide endless calculation. People relax, convinced they've seen your true self, while your plans unfold undetected. So don't hide your flaws. Use them. A touch of weakness is enough to disarm, to humanize, to draw people closer. Chapter 13. Confuse desire and reality. The perfect illusion. Everyone lives partly in a dream, imagining adventure, success, or escape. Enter that dream and make it feel real. The trick is to blur the line between what's real and what's imagined. Cleopatra is the perfect example. For Caesar and Mark Antony, being with her felt unreal, as if they were living in a story rather than the real world. She wrapped reality in ritual, the perfume, the light, the atmosphere. Every detail made them feel as if they'd stepped out of reality and into a dream. That's the essence of illusion, giving someone the feeling their deepest dream has come alive. It can be as simple as creating moments that feel just a little magical. A dinner that feels like a scene from a movie. A shared trip that feels like escape. A night drive that feels endless, like you've left time behind. An ordinary place made unforgettable because of how it felt. That's how illusion works. It transforms the familiar into something unreal, out of a dream. But keep it subtle. If it feels too forced, it breaks. Start with what's real, like familiar places, and add subtle symbols, gestures, or words that make it feel almost magical. This way, what they feel will seem completely real. The diplomat Bernard Boursiquot learned this in the most dramatic way. In the 1960s, he fell in love with Shi Pei Pu, a Peking opera singer who lived as a woman. From the start, the signs were there, but Boursiquot's desire was stronger than truth. He wanted the fantasy to be real, so he believed it. For nearly 20 years, he lived inside that illusion, even raising a child she claimed was theirs. What he didn't know was that she was passing his secrets to Chinese intelligence. His love had blinded him so completely that he couldn't see the manipulation. When the truth finally surfaced, he still struggled to let go, because belief built on emotion resists reality. That's the real power of illusion. It doesn't trick the mind. It seduces the heart. Today, illusion is used by inspirational leaders, captivating artists, and influencers, all building their personal brand online. They take reality and edit it, add atmosphere, beauty, and story until people stop seeing the difference between the real and the ideal. In the end, illusion turns ordinary life into story. Without it, you're just another person in the real world. With it, you become unforgettable. Chapter 14. Isolate the victim. An isolated person is a vulnerable person. The less support they have from friends, family, or routines, the more they turn to you for stability. But isolation can't feel like exile. It has to feel like privilege, like stepping into a secret world that only you two share. Rasputin understood the power of isolation. When he met Tsarina Alexandra of Russia, she was already surrounded by court gossip and political enemies. But inside, she was terrified. Her son, the heir to the throne, suffered from a deadly illness no doctor could cure. Rasputin appeared as a savior, claiming he could ease the boy's pain. He wasn't a doctor or a priest, just a spiritual impostor with a gift for persuasion. But he didn't just heal, he comforted. He told her what no one else dared to say, that God had chosen her, that she was misunderstood, that her faith gave her strength. While others at court mocked him, Rasputin quietly fed her belief that only he understood her. Soon she trusted him more than her advisors, even her husband. He became her refuge. That's the key. Don't just isolate someone physically, isolate them psychologically. You surround them with attention, reshape their routines, and slowly make your presence feel like oxygen. But timing matters. Move too fast, and they'll panic. Take away their comforts too soon, and they'll resist. The art is making isolation feel like luxury, an escape from the ordinary, a secret garden they never want to leave. This principle extends far beyond romance. Leaders and visionaries use it too. Gandhi asked his followers to renounce family ties and devote themselves fully to the cause. JFK offered America a new frontier, calling people to leave behind the comforts of the past and face new challenges: space exploration, civil rights, and global leadership. So, isolation builds unity, dependence, and devotion, whether in love or in power. Chapter 15. Prove yourself. At some point, words lose their power. No matter how charming you are, doubt always slips in about your motives, your sincerity, or the depth of your feelings. To break through doubt, you need proof. And in seduction, proof means sacrifice. There are two ways to prove yourself. The first is spontaneous sacrifice. Life hands you the chance. Your target is in trouble, worried, or under pressure. Most people offer sympathy. Not you. You go further. You stay all night. You spend more than you can afford. You risk looking ridiculous. Even if you fail, the excess itself proves sincerity. A flawed but costly gesture is more seductive than a perfect but effortless one. Think of someone sending emojis to comfort a friend in a difficult moment. Now think of the one who shows up at 2 a.m. when your car breaks down. That kind of action ends doubt instantly. The second is the staged act. When suspicion is highest, create your own test. Take their side publicly. Defy a rival. Stage a daring rescue. Nothing connects people faster than emotion mixed with risk. And risk turns emotion into attachment. That's the lesson. Resistance isn't rejection. It's often a test, a sign that emotions are engaged. The mistake is retreating too soon. Push further, prove more, so maybe resistance flips into devotion. Phase 3. Going deeper. Now you reach beneath awareness. Buried desires, forgotten memories, hidden fears. You're going to work on the unconscious through images, little rituals, and emotion. And that's what awakens nostalgia, excitement, and faith, making them feel safe, alive, and meant to be with you. Chapter 16. Make them feel young again. We all crave one thing without realizing it: to feel young again. Adult life is full of pressure and responsibility, and deep down, we want to escape it. That craving is nostalgia. one of the deepest emotions in seduction. A skilled seducer can make someone feel safe, playful, even childlike again. Actors like Timothée Chalamet understand this. The soft voice, calm gestures, that fragile confidence, it's disarming. People don't just desire him, they want to protect him. That mix of innocence and desire makes people let their guard down. It feels real, not performed. The method is simple. Become a mirror for their past. Ask about childhood, first loves, old disappointments. Don't judge, don't interrupt. Just listen. The act of remembering is powerful. When they feel youth again, they unconsciously connect those emotions to you. There are 4 ways to trigger regression. Infantile regression. Recreate the connection between mother and child. Surround them with warmth and laughter. Let them misbehave if they want. When innocence returns, control follows. Oedipal regression. Step into the parental role. Be loving, but occasionally firm. A touch of discipline feels like care. The secret is balance. Give them the affection or approval they once needed, and they'll never want to lose you. Ego-ideal regression. Bring back the spirit of a first crush. We all once idolized someone, a romantic hero, an artist, an adventurer. Reflect that image, and they'll relive that same intensity through you. Reverse parental regression. Here you take on a more innocent role, almost childlike, playful and disarming. People who are more serious fall for it fast. They start by wanting to protect you, then end up drawn in by you. To do that, don't just talk about memories, recreate them. Take them somewhere that feels youthful. Mirror their disappointments, then offer yourself as the answer they never had. Chapter 17. The pleasure of breaking rules. Nothing creates desire like what's forbidden. The moment something feels off limits, attraction doubles. Affairs, age gaps, or relationships that cross social lines burn with a fire that safe love never has. Forbidden stories always fascinate us. When Prince Harry chose Meghan Markle over royal protocol, the world split between outrage and obsession. Breaking the rule made their love feel bigger than the crown. That's the secret. Show a glimpse of darkness, cruelty, or danger. Let others sense that you don't fully respect the limits, whether marriage vows, family ties, or social expectations. The moment someone crosses a line with you, a secret complicity forms. The guilt draws you closer, and the more dangerous the game, the deeper the connection. But beware, don't stop halfway. If you tempt someone toward transgression and then pull back, they'll feel ashamed, even humiliated. You must carry the game far enough that hesitation disappears and surrender feels inevitable. Chapter 18. Make desire feel like destiny. At this stage, physical attraction awakens, and with it, self-consciousness. The target begins to question their body. Am I good enough? Do I deserve this? That insecurity makes them vulnerable, caught between desire and doubt. A skilled seducer senses this tension and lifts the connection to something higher. They make it feel spiritual, fated, even divine, until those doubts fade away. Desire stops being about the body and turns into something deeper. Suddenly, it feels pure, powerful, impossible to resist. Gustave Flaubert gave his main character this seductive power in his novel, Madame Bovary. Rodolphe doesn't pursue Emma with direct desire. He speaks of destiny, of the stars, of higher truths. He makes their affair feel destined, and Emma abandons herself to him, believing it was fate, not weakness, that had drawn her in. So don't make it just about bodies. Make it about something higher. Present yourself as someone guided by something greater than desire. Keep your motives vague, so they imagine unseen qualities in you. Wrap the connection in art, poetry, or culture until physical desire feels like the union of souls. Chapter 19. Mix pleasure with pain. Kindness can charm at first, but if that's all you give, desire dies. Predictability is the death of seduction. To keep someone hooked, you need contrast. Warmth mixed with coldness. Tenderness spiced with fear. Highs that feel higher because they follow the lows. Josephine understood this. She kept Napoleon addicted not with constant affection, but by alternating passion with rejection. One day she showered him with attention. The next she turned cold and distant. The uncertainty drove him mad, desperate to win her back. Remember that pleasure alone fades, but when it's mixed with pain, it becomes addictive. Give attention, then withdraw. Offer comfort, then provoke jealousy. Even a touch of cruelty makes the relief of reconciliation feel irresistible. The more someone suffers for you, the deeper they fall into the cycle, where pain fuels desire and breaking free feels impossible. Chapter 20. Lead the target to the point of no return. Every seduction begins as a game. You tease, you charm, you build anticipation, but at some point, games turn serious. And seduction is a journey you can't let end halfway. Hesitation becomes dangerous, because once desire builds, it needs direction. To keep the connection alive, you must lead your target to the point of no return, a place where retreat feels impossible, and leaving you would feel like losing themselves. Napoleon lived it. Josephine made him cross that line step by step, through passion, humiliation, and memory. Even after their divorce, his letters showed he could never let go. He had invested too much, sacrificed too much. No rival could compete with what he had already lost to her. That's the essence of power in seduction. Irreversibility. You draw them deeper through shared secrets, sacrifices, and guilt until they no longer separate their identity from yours. What began as pleasure becomes dependency. They've crossed too many lines, told you too much, risked too much to ever turn back. Phase 4. Conquest. Here, seduction shifts from the mind to the body. Their thoughts are filled with you. Now they're vulnerable, ready to give in. But don't rush this moment. Hold the tension a little longer. Let them chase you, desperate to close the distance. Chapter 21. Let them chase you. If you're always the pursuer, the other person grows passive. They stop giving energy and desire fades. To bring it back to life, you have to reverse the roles. Step back and make them come to you. Casanova mastered this art. He knew when to vanish just long enough to leave a trace of doubt. That absence made women anxious, their imagination doing all the work. Soon, they were chasing him, desperate to prove they hadn't lost his interest. The trick is to delay your reply, create an unexpected silence to make them question themselves. Doubt turns into panic, and panic turns into pursuit. It's a primal reaction. As children, we learned love through rejection. Our mother gave us warmth, then pulled away. To win her back, we mirrored her affection. That same pattern rules adult desire. Some seducers start the game from the opposite side. They begin with absence itself, using mystery to make the other person chase from the start. Think of the person who reveals little, the artist who stays just out of reach, the leader who makes attention feel rare. What's hidden always feels magnetic. Madame Sabatier lived it. The Parisian hostess was admired by every artist in her circle, but what obsessed her were the anonymous letters from an unknown admirer. When Charles Baudelaire finally revealed himself, she was already in love. She had been the one seduced by her own longing. In the end, the power lies in patience. Don't chase them. Let them come to you. When they think they're pursuing you, they're already lost. Chapter 22. When the body speaks. Some people seduce with words. Carolina La Belle Otero did it with presence alone. In 1889, she was dancing in a rough cabaret in Marseille. Her style was raw and charged with pleasure. Ernest Jurgens, a respectable theater manager from New York, saw her once and was charmed. A married man with no intention of cheating, he still found himself in her hotel room that same night. He wasn't conquered by words, but by the pure physical pull of her presence. That's the principle. Awaken desire through the body. A glance that holds. A voice that drops lower. A touch that feels accidental. Even imperfection can seduce. A curl of hair out of place or a messy dress. Such cues bypass the mind and awaken the body. And when the air between you starts to change, don't name it. Let silence carry what words can't. Let desire reveal itself in the smallest movements, in your trembling voice, in your eyes, in the way you lean closer as if you can't resist. When they believe their charm has conquered you, resistance disappears. Chapter 23. Master the art of the bold move. Seduction cannot go on forever. After all the teasing, anticipation, and games, there comes a point when hesitation becomes dangerous. Your target may already be ready without daring to admit it. That's when you move. The bold move isn't about forcing desire. It's about timing. Your target must believe they caused it, that their charm, their beauty, their uniqueness overwhelmed your control. The act should feel like release, not domination. Valmont understood this with Madame de Tourvel. For months, he restrained himself, writing letters, confessing, withdrawing, until her resistance began to crumble. At last, when her eyes betrayed nervous desire, he made his move. The suddenness shocked her, but also relieved the unbearable tension. She gave in, believing it was her weakness, not his boldness, that led to it. The Duc de Richelieu mastered this as well. After a prank left him naked at Versailles, he slipped into a duchess's room at the perfect moment. She had pitied him, desired him in secret, and seen him exposed. Richelieu read the signs, the trembling, the long glances, and acted decisively. His boldness sealed the seduction. To use this power yourself, learn to read the moment. Watch for nervousness, trembling, mirrored gestures, eyes that linger too long. Move when the tension peaks, just before they expect it. Add a touch of drama, the risk of being discovered or the silence before the leap. Above all, make it feel as if they started it, that their charm left you no choice. That's the art of the bold move. At the right moment, nothing is more seductive. Chapter 24. After the seduction. The seduction is complete, desire has peaked, the tension released, and yet this is where the real danger begins. Because after every high comes the low. Excitement fades into fatigue. Trust turns into suspicion. Closeness becomes disappointment. Napoleon never escaped this. Even after divorcing Josephine and marrying someone else, he admitted he still couldn't forget her. Her memory followed him everywhere, long after their love had ended. This is the paradox of seduction. The same emotions you awaken can turn against you once the tension is released. Your target feels empty, guilty, suspicious, and you too may feel disappointed, suddenly seeing flaws where you once saw only perfection. Unless you manage what follows the seduction, everything you built can collapse overnight. There are two ways to protect yourself. First, if you want the connection to last, reseduce. Seduction isn't a one-time event. It's a cycle of tension, release, and renewal. Keep desire alive through mystery, play, and unpredictability. Create moments of absence or jealousy. Resist routine because it's fatal. Keep parts of yourself hidden, something they can never fully grasp. Second, if you want to end it cleanly. Slow goodbyes breed resentment. Better to cut sharply, even brutally, than let the illusion fade. If necessary, break your image so they stop idealizing you. Remember, seduction is theater, not reality. When you end the play, whether to start a new act with the same partner or to leave the stage entirely, do it deliberately. Because nothing destroys the memory of a great seduction faster than mishandling its end.